Hi guys, welcome to Kingfisher's Trace and Bait Clinic. It is the 1st of spring, so you know what happens 1st of spring? Our brusher comes. So I'm going to be doing traces and baits on brusher fishing. So don't forget to like our videos, subscribe and press the bell button. Here we go. Guys, to start off with, what we require to make our brusher trace, and I'm going to be using octopus leg with a bit of chocker. Okay, so to do the Occy leg one, what we require is a pair of side cutters. This is 31 kilo Kingfisher. That's going to be for our hook snoot. Then we need a lighter line that will break off if your sinker does get stuck in the bricks and the rocks and that there. So 21, 28, 25 doesn't really make a difference. 5 ounce, 6 ounce sinker, depending on what your rod throws. Kingfisher, thin latex cotton, mustard scissors, foam, our hoodlum 6.0, and fairly big swivels. They have to be strong for the brusher. So this one here is a 2x3. You can go a little bit heavier if you want, but that's more than ample for what we're doing today. Okay, to start off with, let's do the hook snoot part of it. Hook snoot is going to be about 900 long at the end of the day. Cut that off. Our sinker is going to be about 30 centimeters. We'll give ourselves 30 centimeters there. Cut that off. Okay. So let's start off with the sinker one first. This must probably be the easiest one to do. And again, remember when using power swivels that the big eye goes to your leader, the small eye goes to your hook, and of course the sinker comes on the side. Okay, to tie it on, all we do is a figure of 8, 1, 2, 3 times around, back through. There we go. A little bit of lubrication, pull down, and we cut off the tag end. Now, a little trick when using sinkers for brusher, try and use the pair sinker. It travels through the water a lot easier. It does move. It also doesn't get stuck as easily as, for instance, a cone, a grapnel, stuff like that. But here comes the trick part of it. Because you're going to be throwing in the rocks, always make a little groove in your pair sinker. And what you do is you just take your side cutters, round nose pliers, and you lightly push on it, just to make a groove in it like that on either side. Just make it nice and neat. There we go. So that's pretty much what we're doing. Then, when we tie, and I get this to 30 centimeters, so let's just tie a figure of 8 onto it. 1, 2, 3. Slide it down into that groove. Cut it off. Okay. The reason we make that groove in it, so if the sinker hits against the rock, it doesn't damage the nylon. Okay, you do tend to get your sinker back quite often when using the 3-way, but if it does get stuck, the thinner line should break off. In other words, the 21, 25 kilo nylon should break. Now, to make sure it does, we do an overhand granny knot in the line. So there it is there, and we pull that right down to where the actual sinker is over there. You see the granny knot? And we do 2. You can do it 3 times if you want. Okay, so there's your little granny knot. So if the sinker does get stuck, it's going to break off. Simple as that. There we go. So there's our sinker part of it done. We now do our hook. This is 38 kilo. You can go up to 45 kilo Kingfisher if you want. It needs to be a very thick, strong line. It's very important for brusher fishing. And the reason being, when fishing for brusher, they're in the rocks and they're very, very dirty fighters. A little bit of lubrication there, slide it down onto the hook. the end of it, the hook part. We make this about 1 meter in length, so that should be about right. There. Okay. I'm going to take some of my glow-in-the-dark foam. It doesn't have to be glow-in-the-dark. I'm just using white because it is a white bait that we're actually making. Take our scissors, cut a generous piece of foam off. There we go. Now make it about that size. Okay. Now all I'm going to do is just round it off a little bit by cutting those little hard parts or those triangular pieces off. And the reason we do that is to take on pretty much the same shape as our ocky leg. Okay, there we go. So I've just taken a bit of foam, and that's more for flotation than anything else. I'll then take a crochet needle and we go from the bottom of it, and you just twist. You can use a bait needle if you want, it's up to you. There we go. Take our nylon like that, and then just pull the foam back over it. So it's pretty much just a float on your bait, on your line. There we go. Take our hook, and this is a Hoodlum 6.0. It's not a very big hook, but it's a very strong hook. It's one of the strongest hooks you can get. And as you know, brusher have one of the strongest jaws around. I use those jaws for crushing paddlemoons, siffies, cockles, mussels, Muscleman crabs. So yeah. So there we go. There is our foam, there is our trace. So that there is our trace for ocky leg. Okay, I'm now going to show you how to bait it up. Okay guys, what we require to make the bait for a brusher using ocky leg is obviously a sharp knife, our chocker hammer for our chocker, thin Kingfisher latex cotton, and our ocky leg. Ocky legs you can buy from most of the fishing tackle stores around these days. They come in tub form. Okay, so what we do is the bottom part of it, the first 5 to 10 centimeters of the ocky leg. What we're going to do is actually take it and just split it open ever so slightly. There we go. So all I'm doing is splitting it open like that. We then going to take our hoodlum, stick it in at the top of where we've cut it, and you can actually thread it through quite easily like that. Take it through, pull it out. Take it through, pull it out, and you want to go up until about halfway up the ocky leg. And I think we'll do it one more time. And we'll come out about there. Okay, so there we go. That's pretty much what we've done. We've gone through it 3 times. We're then going to pull our foam down to the base that we've split open. We're then going to take our Kingfisher thin latex cotton, and we're going to wrap it around. Now it becomes a bit tricky with this long arm over here, so we just go around 1, 2, 3. And all we're doing is trying to get the ocky leg to bind with our foam so it doesn't fall off. So there we go. I'm very happy with that. Leave that on the side here. And I haven't broken it off. I'm now going to take my chocker, take off all the skin in that, the insides, are out. So there we go. There's our chocker. The skin side is facing up. I'm going to take the thick side of the chocker hammer and I'm going to lightly hit it. I'm not going to smash it to pieces. I'm just going to lightly hit it. All I'm doing is just softening the chocker up. Okay, then I'm going to take the very fine side of the chocker hammer and I'm going to pretty much smash the bait, but only half of it. Okay, so the one half I've pretty much smashed, the other half is still very, very firm. So in half, the firm side, that side, I'm now going to take and wrap around the ocky leg, like so. And all this is going to do is just stiffen up the ocky leg so it doesn't just flop over. And of course you've got the flotation that I'm trying to hide as well. There we go. So that's basically step 2 complete. Step 3 is to take the fine chocker that I've got here, over there, almost see-through, and also wrap that around, creating a big base around the foam. And we're going to put a lot of that thin latex cotton around this. So that is now the completed ocky and chocker combo, as you can see. Now what's going to happen is the sinker is going to sit down there and this part is pretty much going to float up around like that. The small fish are going to come and eat on the soft chocker, which creates a lot of movement, a lot of interest for the bigger predator fish like the brusher that you're looking for. It also does work very well for cob, so if there's cob around, you're targeting now 2 species instead of 1 species. But that's pretty much the way we'd go about targeting a brusher here in KZN. There we go. That's the bait you want to do, guys. It's as simple and quick as easy as that. Guys, we're using a mussel bait now. We're using a Demon Circle hook, 6-0. Okay, so exactly the same trace, nothing changes. All we do is snell the hook. So we go through the eye and wrap it around 3 times, 2, 3 times around the shank of the hook. Go back through and use this hand just to pull the knot tight. As you can see, it's going tight. There's a figure of 8 formed. Pull tight, done. Quick and easy. There we go. So there's our circle hook snelled onto our trace, and we're going to use a mussel for this demonstration. Okay, so let me just grab a mussel. Okay, so I pretty much just went down to the beach. This is an open mussel. This is half a mussel here. So I'm going to show you what happens. The bottom part of the mussel is where all the muscle is in the actual mussel. So when it's closed, it'll be closed like that. When they die, they open up because the muscle part of it actually releases. What we're going to do is we're going to drill a hole through the top here and out the bottom part so that the hook actually sits inside it like that. It's as simple as that. That's all we're doing. Grab a mussel. Unfortunately, I've only got a small one. Remember, collecting bait, you need licenses, guys. Brusher fishing more than any other one because there are crabs involved. There's paralamons, siffies, Venus ears. There's just such a variety of bait that you can use. Ocky, obviously mussels. So what we're going to do, just a little drill bit that I've had for years. And all you do is you start on the top of the actual thing and you start screwing it in between the 2 shells. And there we go. You can see it's gone through quite nicely. And there we go. There we go. Okay, so there it is there. So we take our circle hook, we go through And the reason I'm using a 6-0 is because it's a small mussel. If it was a bigger mussel, I'd use a bigger hook. Okay, so we go through the hole that I've now drilled. There we go. And there we go. Okay, it's as easy as that. There's nothing difficult about putting a mussel on a circle hook for brusher fishing. You can throw that, it will stay on forever. Literally until you go home, that thing will stay on there, it won't come out. A brusher will come in and feed. He actually just smashes. He just comes in and crushes everything and swims off. So the bite is very simple. There's no getting a little bite or anything like that. You'll be standing there 1 second, the next second you're going to be straight. Brusher is one of those fish that there's no warning. You've got to be ready every second of the day when you're fishing for a brusher using mussel. He comes in, he smashes it and swims off with it. It's as simple as that, guys, to put a circle hook on and use a mussel bait for brusher. Okay guys, I'm going to be using a mussel with a J-hook and, yeah, like I said, a mussel with a 6-0 J-hook. It works extremely well when you're using fresh mussels straight off the rocks and that. For that we require a knife. You've got to be very careful when doing this, because if the knife slips, you're going to cut yourself. Okay, so what we're going to do is lay the hook pretty much inside it, facing like that. Okay, but we've got to open the mussel, and that is the tricky part. So I'm going to put my glasses on so I don't cut myself. We take our knife, stick it straight in the center part like that, and all we're going to do is slightly open it. And that's why I say it works extremely well when using a fresh mussel. So I've got a groove in it. All I'm going to do is take the nylon, slide it in. Let's just open him up a bit more. Okay, he closed. Let's try it again. He closed on me. Too clever, this mussel. There he goes. Okay, so we open him up ever so slightly. Work quickly. Right. This is one tricky mussel. Okay, there we go. Try it again. Okay. Can't get it one way, I'll get it another way. Okay. Twist him. And the sneaky bugger closed again. He definitely doesn't want the hook inside him. Hey. You sneaky bugger. Okay. Okay. Third time is a charm. There we go. Third time is a charm. Okay, and all we do is take the nylon down into the bottom part of it. And keep on moving him up. Keep on moving him up in the shell. There we go. And you'll find that the mussel always closes himself, always pulls tight around whatever might be inside him. So there we go. You can see he's actually pulled himself tight again. The minute I let go, he pulled himself tight. But you've got to be careful. Eventually he will open up and your hook might fall out. So we take our thin latex cotton, where it is, there. And we just lightly wrap it around just to prevent it from opening up and losing that hook of yours. There we go. So we just wrap it around a couple of times. Done. Okay. And the only reason, like I say, you use the thin latex cotton is eventually the mussel will relax and open up. But he's still alive. Okay, so there we go, guys. There is the brusher bait using a mussel, and it works very well when you're fishing over those flat mussel beds. There we go, guys. Another very, very good bait are these crabs that you get on the rocks. It's the round crab, it's not the Muscleman crab. It does work nowhere near as good as the Muscleman crab. To do it using a J-hook, let's grab a J-hook quickly. The easiest way is to just take this. I need some thin latex cotton, Kingfisher thin latex cotton. Take your hook and stick it at the bottom part of the carapace over there. Just in over there. If I can just stop moving. And all you do is you just pull it straight through. It's as simple as that. There we go. Straight through the shell. Take these legs like that. And we just tie it up lightly with some cotton. There we go, guys. That's the quickest, easiest way to do a crab bait for a brusher. That's going to hit the rocks, fall down. You've got a bit of movement in the legs. It's strong, it looks good. And yeah, no brusher is going to go past that without having a little bit of an inquiry. That is using the normal rock crab. Okay, like I said, it is not the Muscleman, it's the normal rock crab. Okay guys, I'm using a Muscleman crab, and of course he gets his name from those big claws that he has on him over there that are very strong, very big. Look at them, they are absolutely huge. He looks like Popper the Sailor Man, and when he gets into his little crevice and he closes up like that, you can't move this crab at all. Very difficult to catch. One of the hardest crabs to actually catch on the rocks and that. Okay, again, there is my sinker with my power swivel. There is my nylon with my hoodlum, 6-0. What we require to do this bait is a bait needle or a hook puller or a hook dangle puller, whatever you want to call it. Easiest way to do it is, if you look closely over here, just move his pinches out the way, you can see underneath where the carapace, the top part of it actually joins the feet area over here. So have a look over there. That is a soft area in the actual crab. So what we do is we take our dangle puller. You can use a crochet needle as well. Actually, the crochet needle might be a better option because it's a lot smaller for this one. It's quite a small Muscleman. And we just go through him like this. There it is, there it is. Underneath. And we just slowly work our way into these actual, there we go, it's gone through. Now coming up the other side. There we go. Okay, so if you have a look there, it's basically gone through the bottom part of him. We then take our nylon, just make a little bit of a U in it, and you pull that back through. So all I'm going to do is pull that through. Keep tension on the line, very important when you do that. There we go. Take the eye of the hook, stick it in that area, and if I pull, that hook should sit perfectly on top. Okay, so there it is there. The hook is not going to move anywhere. We then take our swivel. 1, 2, 3 times to our figure of 8. Slide down, pull tight. And there is our Muscleman rigged, ready to throw. No cotton required whatsoever. And that's most probably the quickest, best bait for catching a brusher. I'm going to show you how to do the Muscleman crab the way I like to fish for brusher. It's a little bit more difficult to do. Circle hook. Okay, here we go. Figure of 8 around the shank of the actual hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. We're just basically snelling the nylon and just pull it slowly at the back, just so it starts forming the figure that you want on the back of the hook there, the figure of 8 on the back of the hook. Pull tight. Pull tight, make sure your knots are good. So it's about that long. About 1.9 meters in length. Bit of lubrication there and pull tight. Okay. So that is basically the circle hook for the brusher trace. Now what I do is a rubber band, a reasonably thick one, not those very thick ones. It will be the medium-sized rubber band that you get. Okay, get another one. Okay, there we go. The medium-sized rubber band. All we're doing is looping it over to form a loop. So basically all you do is that. Put your hook through it. So that's all I've done. Just basically tied the rubber band to the circle hook. Nothing fancy about that. Take a bit of flotation. This is red. A darker color always works better. And all you need is a small piece like that. Crochet needle. You can use a drill bit if you want, but yeah, crochet needle, one dangle puller, whatever it is. Now what you're going to do is you're going to make a hole wherever that little bit of a loop is over there. There we go, you just pull it slowly through and go through the back of him. So that's all I've basically done. Just gone through the back of him like that. Okay. So there's my elastic band, there's the hole. So there's the float. Stick the float on, go through the top, grab the rubber band, like so. Just put a bit of tension on the rubber band, pull it back through the carapace, through the actual flotation, like that. We then take the rubber band over the top, like that. That's it, done. What's going to happen is that's going to float him up off of the bottom. It's going to give him a lot more movement. And remember, when fishing for brusher, you're fishing in a very rough area. So it's just going to give it a lot more movement in the actual water. There it is there. There's nothing difficult about it. Remember, this bait you can't throw very hard, so it's for close fishing off deep water points. There we go, guys. My favorite way of fishing for brusher. As simple as that, guys. You can't get simpler than that and easier than that. Okay.